welcome to Borderline episode 10. Episode 10 of my podcast slash videocast, if that's what you call the YouTube version. Oh, it's on YouTube now as well. It's not just audio, my friends. You can actually watch me do this if you want to go and subscribe to Danny Buckler on YouTube. Also, subscribe to this podcast before you do a single thing. Hit the subscribe button. Wherever you're consuming this, it helps me with the algorithms, and they are a bastard to defeat, as I'm learning. What else can you do to support this cast? That's it. Subscribe. Leave us a nice review if you like. There's some lovely ones already. Thank you for everyone that's left one so far. I'm very happy about that. And how are you? Oh, it's a weird one, this. I mean, I've got... Right, this episode of Borderline, as always, we start in the present moment because that is ultimately all that there is. All there is what's happening now, and everything else is an invention. And right now, I'm heartbroken. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to give you the story. It's not the time or the place. Just had a bit of news at the weekend. It's broken my heart. Across the multiverse, an infinity of Danny Bucklers all cried out at once, as if something shattered, apart from the one lucky bastard version of Danny Buckler, where everything's worked out and he's now happy as Larry. There's one version of me in the multiverse where it all falls into place, and oh, to be that guy. But that's life, my friends. It comes at you hard, and sometimes it hurts. But, but it doesn't end. It keeps flowing, always flowing, always flowing. And I've been cheered up by a few things that have happened. Mainly, the main one being seeing the first photograph of Michael Keaton in the Batsuit on the set of Batgirl. Oh, I'm so excited for that. I can't even tell you how... Right, now, when I heard Keaton was coming back as Batman for the Flash movie, obviously, I'm excited, you're excited, everyone's excited about that. But I had no idea he was going to be reprising the role in other milieu. He's also appearing in Batgirl. His role in the DCU, he's now the Batman, it appears. Him and Robert Pattinson, but they exist in two separate universes. So the Robert Pattinson Batman's out on his own, in his own world, and the multiverse version, the Keaton version, is the version we're going to get in the DC multiverse universe, the one that we currently know, which is going to have a big shift. The Flashpoint film is going to shift it all. It gets bloody complicated. Marvel's hard enough, and Marvel's got a clear direction. Like Marvel's multiverse is hard enough to keep tabs on, but the DC one is a right bleeding mess. It rivals my own in terms of not knowing what's what. But anyway, this is what's what. I saw that picture. Now, I'm trying to temper my hope. I've been wounded recently. I've been kicked in the member berries by the Matrix Resurrection. So I am tempering everything with caution. That film let me down, man, I tell you. As a broadcaster, as a podcaster of a certain age, a certain vintage, you couldn't tell from the video. I keep my age a closely guarded secrets for the reasons of I still want to work. But I'm old enough to remember The Matrix, and going to see it in the cinema and it being that experience, seeing that film for the first time. Oh, no internet then, you know what I mean? None of this, no the stuff that the kids now enjoy. That film, seeing that level of CGI for the first time, the effects, everything about it, but more importantly, the concepts, what it went into. I went with my best mate at the time from college and his then partner. And it was hot. What happened was we went to see it. We sat in the cinema, down go the lights. I vaguely know what it's about. I know it's a bit of a mind-bending reality thing. I know that Keanu Reeves is in it. I know there's going to be some spectacular kung fu in the offering to rival my own that I practice in the morning in the garden. Oh, I'm very well versed in the ways of the white crane. You don't want to see that. The neighbours definitely don't want to see that. It's a wonderful thing to be out in that. I've got a little garden where I am now. It's a nice thing to be out there every morning, whirling through the white crane, imagining that I'm on top of the mountain, feeling the breeze. A lone flute plays in the distance. Then, as I come to pause and open my eyes, I return to reality, where it's just me standing there in my boxing shorts and a dressing gown, and the neighbour's looking out of his window with a joint on, looking at me like, what the bloody hell have I just watched? I appear to live next door to a wizard with a very limited budget. But we were in the cinema and we got swept into them. I mean, I was so into this film. The second it started, all the what's real and beliefs and reality and all. Oh, that was my happy. It still is now. You may have noticed. And I forgot I was in a cinema. Thank Christ, because, man. So not the central heating, the opposite of that. What's the opposite of heat? Cold. Air conditioning. The air conditioning broke down in the cinema. We were all sitting there, but we were so into the film, we had no idea it had happened. It wasn't until the end of the film, the end credits rolled, the lights came up in the cinema, that I realised I was literally sitting there like I'd been drenched, like I'd just done the bucket challenge. You know, like I'd been hosed down, sweat running down me, my hair flat on my head like that, like a pancake. We're all just gasping for air, dehydrated, but we were so into the film, no one even noticed. The cinema did. We got a free ticket to see something else, but that's how riveted I was. So I was all about the Matrix. I started reading about the philosophy of it, warriorship. I got into simulation theory, some of the things that have come up before on this podcast. Let me pause to sip my brew. That Starbucks eggnog latte carton is lasting, mate. I'm telling you. That stuff don't go off. I'm a month in and it's still sitting there. I'm less than halfway through. That is the best £6 I've ever spent. £6 for a carton of wonderment in my fridge. That just brings joy to any coffee. It's like Christmas every day around here. So anyway, I love The Matrix. I loved it. Everything about it. The action, the choreography, the cast, the characters. Yeah, man. Then came them 2 sequels. Not so glorious. Didn't enjoy those at all. That was a long night in the cinema, mate. That was a shift. That Matrix 2. Having been promised all sorts in the first one. Having had the Oracle, we see glitches in the Matrix. They appear as werewolves, vampires, and supernatural phenomena. And thinking, oh, they're setting up something here. Matrix 2, we might see some of this shit. And then what we actually got was those 2 twins off the gardening programme. It was weird. Those 2 twins, there was a gardening show on at the time, on daytime TV, and the main gardeners were these 2 twins, and it turned out they're both kickboxing champions, but no one knew they were there as gardeners. And there they are in the Matrix, whatever it was, the second one. You know what? That's how bad it is. I can't remember what the tags were. Matrix Revolutions was the last one. Resurfaced, or whatever that, rebooted, the Matrix, whatever the second one. The one with the bloody architect in. And wasn't he a letdown? You finally get to the heart of the Matrix to find out who's behind everything. It turns out to be Colonel Sanders in a suit that doesn't fit, sitting there so you can see his white socks. And then just does a speech that's supposed to explain what the Matrix is. And I remember the whole cinema literally starting to talk, breaking up. Like when he was doing that speech about what the Matrix is and the thing and what the one is and the one splits into the 2 and the 3 and the 4. And the whole cinema just started talking because they were bored. And normally, right, that incites me to violence. If someone's talking in a cinema, they're getting a cursory, they're getting a courtesy shh. And if it doesn't cease, they're getting a quiet. If they still don't cease, they're getting a visit at about 4 a.m. You know, I mean, I can't have it. Talking in the cinema, that ain't good. Don't do it. You've got pubs, you know, the cinema's mine. You've got pubs. Go to the pub. You've got friends. You're probably in a relationship. You've got stuff you could be doing. Let old lonely man here sit in the cinema and watch his film. But except for this Matrix film, when the talking started, I was just keen to turn around and join in because I was that lost with the thing. God, it was awful. Just boring. How can you make that boring? I tell you what, it smacked to me. It smacked to me of, we never had a plan for this. It's a bit like Star Wars. If you can imagine the Star Wars universe doesn't exist apart from the film Star Wars. That's it. Nothing else happens. There's no Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, no prequels, no sequel trilogy. None of it happens. No Boba Fett, no The Mandalorian, no books, no comic books. Nothing else happens. Just that film gets made and comes out. That film is complete. You know, Darth Vader wears black because he's the main stormtrooper. You know, there's no mention of him being a fallen Jedi in that film. All we know about Darth Vader is, we don't even know that Darth is a title. We think Darth Vader's his name. You didn't find out that Darth was a title for a Sith Lord until, you know, the sequels and the prequels, sorry. So the main baddie is Moff Tarkin, Peter Cushing. He's the main villain. He's apparently running the Empire. There's no reference to it. There's a reference to an emperor, but he's never seen. So Peter Cushing is running the Empire. The Empire's main base is the Death Star. And at the end of the film, that blows up. And the only sort of that blows up. And at the end of the film, we see the rebellion triumphant. And the only thing that sort of hints of more to come is we see Darth Vader's ship spin off. And we know that he's still alive. But when Lucas made that, no idea there were going to be sequels or a trilogy. No, he probably had it in his head, but not in actuality. So Star Wars stands alone. The Matrix, the same. It stands alone. It begins, it ends, and it's brilliant. But I get the impression that it was more successful than they thought it was going to be. And then when the studio came back and said, "Can we have 2 more? What else you got?" And then the Wachowski brothers, sisters, the brothers then, they've obviously changed genders now, but when, yeah, like, oh yeah, we got loads of it. Oh, there's a script ready to go right here, isn't there? Yeah, that one. Yeah, oh yeah. And then, bloody hell, are we going to do to fill this out? Lot of padding. And no werewolves. Not a werewolf in sight. Not a vampire in sight. Nothing. The only weirdness we get is the 2 twins from the gardening programme. Which is weird. If you knew the gardening programme and you were watching it, you sort of felt like, yeah, this will be a glitch in reality. You know, if those 2 twins... Oh, what's his name? Nick, the guy who does all that sort of handyman shows. Oh, what's his bloody name? Handsome bloke. This is embarrassing. I did a show with him. I did a TV show with him, and I can't remember. Nick, he's a bloke. Blokey TV producer. You know the one? Nick, the blokey TV presenter. I did a show with him. Oh, God. He hosted a pilot I was in. Nick, it'll come to me. Be like him popping up, though. Boom, boom. Oh, there he is. There's Nick, the presenter. Can't remember his surname. But he's in the Matrix now. He's got a sword. Crap. Hated those sequels. Then I see the trailer for this one. I'm all excited because they use the song. Dun, 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 dun. One pill makes you larger, and one makes you small. Oh, I'm loving it. The trailer's brilliant. It's a Keanu Reeves, but as he is now, looking at reality like, oh man, dude, what's real, what isn't in this trailer? Building. And as a man of a certain vintage, to see an action hero on the screen who is older than you, to still have someone older than you on screen kicking butt, or at least trying to, when I saw the film, it's still nice to know, all right, you can still headline a film at the age of, because Keanu Reeves is 60, I believe. You can still headline a film of that nature at that age and it not look wrong. In fact, it looks even cooler. You know, I can relate to this. I'm loving this. And the trailer's full of good shit. And I'm thinking, this is exactly what I want. What's real, what isn't. I need this film in my life, especially after lockdown and heartbreak. I need this film in my life. I need it. And I go and see it. And it is absolute shite. I could not even make it. I didn't like it. It's one of those weird ones. You know, you see a film and you don't like it, but you want to like it. So you're willing yourself to like it. But there ain't much there to like. I was praying, trying to force my... It's like when I came out The Last Jedi. Looking at me and my brother, both looking at each other going, yeah, wow, whoo, wow, yeah. There was some stuff in that, yeah. I mean, then you're halfway into the car drive home. I didn't like it, did you? No, absolute shit. I mean, it was that. We came out of this the same way. If I wish hard enough, maybe I'll like it. Boring, man. There's a new Agent Smith in it who's not Agent Smith, so what's the point of making him Agent Smith? I mean, there's nothing about him that's Agent Smith. So why make him Agent Smith? Why not make him a new character? And the bad guy that in it, the guy who turns out to be the villain. I don't want to spoil the film if you haven't seen it, but you know, the villain reveal is like, all right, the baddie is, I want it to be terrifying or interesting or malign, and not be like, all right, that twit, that guy, yeah, that villain, How do you beat him? Because it looks like a stiff fart might do it. That guy. All right. Here's a challenge. How are we going to overcome him? Put one too many sugars in his tea. Not a good... So, yeah. So, that, the whole nostalgia thing. I've had a bit of a, came out of it like that. Oh. I was thinking, so that's why I'm trying to hold it back. Please, Michael Keaton, don't let me down. But then I see this picture on the internet. I'm scrolling through, as is my wont, on one of the social medias, probably Instagram. By the way, follow the Danny Buckler show. Follow this podcast on Instagram, Borderline with Danny Buckler. That's where you need to be. And you can get busy and you can actually interact with me and stuff like that. And we can build this thing, this, whatever it is. Brand. I don't know what I'm doing. Brand Buckles. What's the brand? He just sort of sits there and talks. So I'm tempering my expectations. But this picture has just blown that. It's just him in the batsuit. That's all it is. He's on the set, but just seeing him in the batsuit. Seeing a 70-year-old Batman, the Batman of my youth, in a batsuit. Oh, it don't get better than that. How long have I done? Let's check the timings. Oh, we're doing all right. It don't get better than that. Keaton's Batman again. Oh! He looks the same. I mean, the suit is obviously, it's an updated version of the suit if you've not seen it, but it is basically the 89 suit, but enhanced by the looks of things. I later found out it's not the photograph. One of the photographs is him, one of them isn't. It's a stunt man. That was a bit disappointing, but there you go. I don't care. The point is I'm seeing the suit. I remember Batman 89 coming out. That was a big deal. I was very young then. The summer of Batman. I just started going into London on my own. But I was a teenager. I was very youthful. I had no business doing it. I mean, I'm very young, but I was nipping up there to go to the magic shops at the weekend. And you could get into town then. It was literally like £5 got you a travel card and you were into London and then you went to the magic shop and you bought a few things and hung out with the magicians all day. And mixed stories about that time to be saved for another episode. Some great, some not so great, but all entertaining. All worth telling, I think. But I was there the night that Batman 89 opened. Now, I'm a Bat fan at the level of my DNA. My first word on this earth was Batman. When I was a baby in the crib, I'd be in there playing, my mum and dad me, and the Batman TV series, the comedy series with Adam West was on the TV at the time, and I'd sing the theme tune, in my... I'd scream. If she tried to turn it off, I'd scream. And she'd literally be like, you were too young to be watching it. It was weird. You were just sort of like a baby. But if I turned it off, you didn't like it. And then my first word apparently was, Batman, to the song. Oh, I'm Batman, mate. I'm Team Bat all the way. So that summer, I go into London. I didn't realise either. I went into London to go to the magic shops. I had no idea it was the premiere night of Batman 89. So I remember walking over Waterloo, because I wouldn't do the tube. I was walking over Waterloo Bridge, and the sky was streaked with bat signals. They'd set up bat signals in Leicester Square. I got as close as I could to it, but back then, a film premiere actually meant something, you know what I mean? So you couldn't get within a few feet of it. So I never saw Nicholson, or if he was even there, or Keaton, or anyone arriving, but it was a big thing to see those bat signals streaking the sky. The only time I've ever seen anything similar was about 2.5 years ago, just for Christmas before the lockdown, going to meet my friend Dave. He was doing a show on the South Bank, that Circus one. Circus 1903, I think it's called. Anyway, he's the ringmaster in that. I went to see him, and we were hanging out, and it turned out they were filming The Batman, the new one. They were filming a sequence for that, which I believe you see in the trailer. It's when he dives off that building with her. That building's in London. And they were filming that, and I was tempted to go and watch, but I thought, you know what, nah. I'd just be standing it was cold, it was rainy, I'd just be standing there to get a glimpse of nothing. Like those nutters that you see, looking for a glimpse of Colin Farrell in the penguin suit. But Batman 89 was an I never got to see the film until much later on. It was the first, you could buy it on VHS for a tenner. It was when they just started. It used to be that films came out on VHS and you could rent them, but they were like £80 to buy those rental tapes for the stores. Give it 6 months, it went into the shops for a tenner. But Batman was the first one to come out simultaneously for rental and for purchase. So I bought it for Christmas for myself with voucher money from my granddad. So that's when I watched it finally with my brother. And I know, man, this was the moment he became a geek, a sci-fi, a fan of the things that we're both a fan of. This was the moment it happened. I saw it in real time. He was slightly too young for the film, but he was enjoying it. But like he was also that age where the scary bits actually scared him. But, you know, he was a little man, little toddler. But he was enjoying it. And I kept saying, let me turn this off. And he was like, oh, no, I'm liking it. And it was the moment when Jack Napier has fallen into the acid. We're in the film, presumably to his death, but he hasn't. And you see that hand come out of that water outside Axis Chemicals. The white hand of the Joker comes out in a torn glove. And that affected my brother. Like, he was like, oh. He's like his brain made the connection. He's the Joker now. That's how he becomes the Joker. It was like his brain making his connection. There's a bigger story. That's how this man becomes the Joker, and that's how he links to Batman, because Batman is responsible for him becoming the Joker. But later in the film, we find out that the Joker is responsible for him becoming Batman. So there's this kind of, and his brain was making, there's relationships between these characters that extend out. And I saw it all happening in his head, like, oh, I'm loving this. And now he's a lifelong, you know, fan and expert of all gaming and wrestling. And it all came from that moment of the Joker's hand coming out of the water. I'm Batman. An improvised line, by the way, by Keaton. That scene on top of the roof when who are you? I'm Batman. Was improvised. That line was supposed to be something else. In the script, it was something like, I am vengeance, or I am the night, or I am the Dark Knight. There was a mouthful. There were several goes at it. I am the Dark Knight. It was a mouthful. It's too much to say. I am the spirit of the night. Who are you? I am many things. It depends who you ask. You know, to some, I'm a, you know, pain in the ass, I'm sure. But to others, I'm a friend. But to you, I am the... It was a real mouthful. And then Keaton just looked at the script and went, why don't I just go with something? And in the moment just went, just to go with the obvious. So, who are you? I'm Batman. That's it. Simple. And an easier bat voice on the throat. I'm Batman. You know, Christian Bale's hurts. Where's the trigger man? I don't know. Where are the drugs going? I don't know. I swear to God. Swear to me. That would, you know, test a man. Keaton taking it easy. Just a whisper. I'm Batman. That's enough. There's no need for any effort. I know what I'm doing. I'm Batman. I'm trying too hard. I know. Turn it down a little. Batman. Patterson seems to have turned it right down, just doing his own voice in a whisper. We'll wait and see how that works in the film. Affleck went with a warbler. A kind of a voice distortion thing. I thought she was with you. Is she with you? I thought she was with you. And that's the moment that brought Wonder Woman to the world in Batman versus another film that's going to get its own kicking on here. I did like Batfleck as well, though. He grew on me. I remember that casting being well pissed off. I saw they announced it. Ben Affleck is Batman. I was like, what? Affleck? You know, oh, here we go. The usual suspects. I wanted someone new and fresh. Affleck. Grew on me, though. The films didn't. He did. I mean, the films are rubbish, but him as Batman, I mean, he's the most Batman. He looks like Batman. He thinks like Batman. He trains like Batman. You know, he's got the tortured psyche. Everything is perfect about him. Apart from the killing. Batman don't kill. 2 rules. No guns, no killing. This Affleck's Batman clearly does murder. And it's not just killing, it's with intent. He goes out to kill. Oh, don't get... He's Charles Bronson in the Death Wish in a bat suit. Keaton kills as well. You know, let's not pretend that doesn't happen. Keaton's not perfect as Batman. He's still one of my favourite Batmen, but he's not perfect. You know, he still can't move his head. He still does murder. You know, he still tucks a bomb into a clown's trousers, smiles at said clown, then headbutts him down a shaft to blow up. That's not the Batman that's not the... No guns, no killing. How about chucking some dynamite down someone's trousers and pushing them down a mine shaft? That's fine. And you're okay with catching somebody in your exhaust of your Batmobile like a flamethrower and leaving them screaming and burning, fully on fire, know where they're going to survive that, and they'll die slow. That's fine too, just no guns, no killing. That is killing though. Yeah, you could say that. Seeing him in the bat suit, seeing the silver hair on him. Oh, wonderful. I'm so excited. He's appearing in The Flash, he's appearing in Batgirl. Can't wait for both. Can you imagine the first time in that film when he says, I'm Batman? They're going to build up to it, aren't they? It's going to be built up to. You'll see him as Bruce Wayne first, and then you'll eventually see him in the suit, and the Flash is going to go, who are you? And he's going to say, I'm Batman. And that cinema is going to explode, my friends. And I cannot wait. So, my friends, there's your borderline. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to this podcast. Tell your mates. Don't keep it a secret. I know you find something cool, you want it for yourself, and I understand that completely. But, life is sharing. Don't be afraid to share this on the socials. And I will see you on the very next borderline. Be well, my friends.